Hi my loves, how's it going? How you guys doing? Welcome if you're new, welcome back. If you've seen me before, it's that time of the month where I do share my empties with you guys. I do have a good chunk in here. There is a good chunk of makeup, there's a good chunk of other empties too, and some of these are massive. So I cannot wait to literally have these recycled and moved out. If you guys enjoy watching empties videos, honey content, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. Check me out on my other social medias. Everything is literally like here, Daily with Deals. And let's just get right into the empties video. This is my trusty basket that I keep all the time in my wardrobe, and it collects my empties for the month. And I do have quite a few, like I've said. I will talk about this giant one, which was the last product that I used up. Literally, last night was the last day of April, so I was washing my makeup brushes and I used up the last lot of this. I have been using this, I want to say, for well over 6 months. And initially, somebody had bought it in my family to use the shampoo, but it just didn't really work for them, so they left it and it was collecting dust. And I had used up my soap that I was initially using to clean my makeup brushes, and I didn't really feel like buying anything new at the time, so I decided might as well use what I have. And as nobody's using this, I might as well use it up. So that's what I did, and it's been with me for a long time. And I found it a lot easier rather than having like set days where I would like clean my makeup brushes. I would just take a couple with me into the shower and wash them. So it was like maybe like 3 or 4 brushes at a time. And I literally do that while I'm letting my conditioner sit in my hair. And I feel like it's the most easiest routine for me to have rather than dedicating certain days where I clean my makeup brushes, because it can be a lot and I can go through quite a few brushes, even though I do try and keep a limit as to how many I have, but still it can be a lot. So I found that this is the easiest way. Does make it fairly easy to clean my brushes. The only thing I'll say though is whenever I wash my makeup sponges, um, this shampoo has a scent, so the sponges actually hold onto the scent, which if you don't like, I don't think this would be the one for you. I don't know if they do one where it's unscented or something like that, but I'm glad I was able to use this while I could. I will just touch up on the other Johnson's product that I use. This powder I've had, I want to say, at least for 3 years. I use this. I think I initially bought this because I had a rash and I needed something just to stop my skin touching each other and also keep my skin dry to sort of help the healing process. And honestly, I've had this ever since. And I then recently started, well, I say recently, but I've been kind of waxing myself at home, just my underarms and downstairs. And it is a very difficult process. Um, but I use this as a way to like get rid of the moisture, because I've seen a lot of people do this, and I've had this for so long. Like, these last forever and ever and ever, and I think I've had this for well over 2 years. I want to say three, possibly longer than that. And I've just only recently used this up. So yeah, this is very long lasting for me because I don't wax like once a month. I kind of sometimes push it a little bit longer, and then I regret my decision. But that's neither here nor there. But this is another product that I used up very recently, and I'm kind of glad that I did, because I ended up buying a duplicate of this, thinking I was almost done with this like last year at some point, and I've had that product for so long, and this one I've only just recently finished. So yeah, that was quite an interesting understanding. I only have two hair care products. Let's just talk about these. This shampoo I've been using, this one I think is Durko's Technique, and this is a anti-dandruff salicylic acid shampoo. It's not that bad, but I did find that my hair gets a lot greasier with this. I mean, it did work well and I did like it, but I do feel like the Neutrogena salicylic acid one was a lot better for me, and I definitely preferred that one over this one. But I am glad I used this because I did see a lot of hype around this, and as much as I did think this product was okay, it was just okay and it did the job. But I feel like there's other products I can obviously buy for either the same price or sometimes cheaper, and I won't be buying this one again. I think it's actually from Vici, not, I don't know. It's either, I think it's Vici the brand, and then Durko's Technique might be a specialist subsection they have. I don't really know, but I'm glad I got to use this up. I think I found like a new favorite leave-in hair conditioner, and it has to be the Redken One United all-in-one multi-benefit treatment. Oh my god, this made my hair feel so soft. I remember using this when I had my bleached hair, and that bleached hair was extremely frustrating for me because it was 2 years old. It was so dry no matter what I did. It was extremely dry because obviously bleach dries out your hair. But I found that this product really helped make it softer and just easier to sort of brush through and look after and get less tangled up with one another. But I did also find that this is really hydrating. Even now where I've just got like my natural hair, this does feel very nice and hydrating, and it made my hair feel very soft and smooth, and I've really enjoyed this. And this lasted me for so long. I think I've been using it for about a year on and off. But the last, I want to say at least 6-ish months, I did get into a really good routine with using this. And I would spray a couple of sprays all over my hair, and I would then just brush out and go on with my day. Honestly, I really like this. I do definitely want to go back out and purchase the one again. I do have two other like smaller ones that I'm currently using, or I will get onto using, but eventually I will repurchase this one again. I did really enjoy this Redken product, and I think this might end up becoming a staple within my hair care routine. Moving on to skincare, I used up this sheet mask. This is from BioAqua. Somebody gave it to my mom, and my mom was like, I'm not going to use a sheet mask, so just take it. So I was like, okay, cool, I might as well take it. And I took it and I was using it. So this is the collagen facial mask. It's 2 times moisturizing. It was okay. Like, I didn't think it was that amazing. It just did the basic job of what one of these sheet masks would do for me, which is usually just making me force myself into like not doing anything and actually just like relaxing, which is something I find really difficult to do. Um, Again, it was okay. I think I've used better face masks or other masks that I prefer or found more hydrating. So I wouldn't really go back out and purchase one again, but it was just an easy one use product. I initially bought this Haru Haru Wonder Black Rice Triple AHA Gentle Cleansing Gel face wash, thinking that this was going to be really good for me, especially at nighttime because I have oily skin. I use sunscreen. I do a lot of, I mean, the main thing is I have oily skin, so it can sometimes be hard for my skin to feel like it's cleansed properly. Like, I know not to strip my skin, obviously, or to make it feel really dry, but I feel like certain products are still quite gentle on my skin to what I really do need. This is one of those products, and eventually I had to move this from using it at nighttime to using it only during the morning because I feel like that's how gentle this was. I mean, it does say that in the name, but I wasn't expecting it to be as gentle because it has also triple AHA in it. So I thought it would be maybe a little bit more stronger. But whenever I used to use it at nighttime, it just wasn't enough for what I truly needed. So I ended up repurchasing one of my OG sort of favorites, which is the Inculate Salicylic Acid Cleanser. And I use this during the morning times. And this went quite quickly. I do try to do my skincare at least twice a day, like once in the morning, once in the evening, because I feel like when you have oily skin, I feel like I kind of need it. Obviously, that's down to your skin as well, because somebody else who's oily might only just feel like they need to do skincare once. It's really just down to how your skin feels. But I feel like I kind of do need a gentle cleanser sometimes in the morning. There were times in the mornings when I wouldn't use, I would literally just skip this routine and jump on to like just maybe using a lotion or face cream or like a sunscreen, but a lot of the times I did use a cleanser and this was okay. Like, I would probably buy this again considering how gentle it was on my skin, and I did like it just for morning purposes, but I would only buy it for like a morning version, not like for evening when I feel like I need something a little bit more stronger. A product I really did not like and get along with that well was this Estee Lauder Daywear Multi Protection Antioxidant Sheer Tint Release Moisturizer. It's got SPF 15 in it. That is definitely not enough moisturizer that one person needs, especially now with the summer coming around and it being very sunny and the heat is like the sun is pretty intense. So I won this as part of the H Beauty Carnival that they did last summer, and you pay, I think it's like £5 extra, and then you get to do like a raffle. Well, they have these machines, and then you just grab a raffle ticket, and then whatever you get whatever ticket size you get. I think it was, you win a specific prize. The lady picked this one out for me, and this was one. The shade was just a little bit too deep for me, and I feel like it wasn't the best thing for me to use in the winter. But then in the summertime, where it's going to be so bright and sunny, I don't think this would be ideal for me because it doesn't really sit that well underneath sunscreen, and I would not rely on this because it's only SPF 15. And I feel like to actually get SPF from a moisturizer, you need so much of it on your face. So I personally do not think it's enough at all. So I've literally just begrudgingly used this up. I have been trying to use it for the last several months. I think I either rolled this in sort of like February or maybe like towards the end of January. But this took me a very long time to use because no matter how much I use, I just feel like I couldn't use it if I'd used other skincare products beforehand. And I had to wait at least a good 5 minutes before I put SPF on top of this. And I also found that a lot of the times this wouldn't work with a lot of SPFs, or just putting some, not SPF, but putting something else on top of this. So whether that was makeup, whether that was SPF, or sometimes primers as well, it just didn't really work. It didn't gel well with it, and I didn't really like this. Also, I'm not really gonna go back out and buy something from Estee Lauder. They're very expensive for skincare wise, and I don't really think they have the benefits within the line that I would really want, because you can get a product that would work really well for a fraction of the price to what this is. I didn't really like it, and I just felt like it was really messy. It was frustrating to use, and also when you put the cream on, my hands literally had the tint all over it. If I was wearing a t-shirt, I couldn't, and or like if I maybe wanted to take a nap, during the day. I couldn't really do it if I was wearing this because literally it would stain my pillow. It would be as if I had worn like a proper coloured, like maybe like a foundation or something, and like just gone to sleep or something like that. So I didn't really like it. There's a lot of frustrating things with this product. So I'm really glad that this is done. I honestly, the only reason I used it was because of that reason, that I had it and won it in the giveaway, and it was really expensive, but I wouldn't ever go out and buy this myself. It really wasn't it. Another product I didn't really like, and I don't really think is meant for me, is this Laneige water sleeping mask. This is supposed to hydrate, brighten, and soften, and I have used the whole thing up, and I'm really glad that I have. But I wouldn't really buy this myself. I honestly got it because it was part of a curated slash edited box, either from Cult Beauty, Look Fantastic, or Boots. It was one of the three, because they all, I think, did Korean or K beauty skincare boxes last year, and this is one of the products that came out of the box. This is like overnight sort of mask. I didn't really like this. I sometimes felt like it made a mess on my pillow as well, and I just don't feel like I need something like this. It just isn't meant for me. Like, my skin usually does feel okay. It's very rare for it to feel really dry, especially, I mean, that only really happens during the winter times. But then if that happens in the winter, I have specific products I would rather use over using something like this. I'd rather use other skincare products than use like an overnight mask. I just feel like it's so messy and I don't like it. And I typically tend to avoid these. The only times I will end up with them is if it's part of a curated or edited beauty box that you can buy. So yeah, I'm glad I finally got this done. This was also part of my, I think, Beauty A to Z project plan. I think, at least I believe it was part of that. So I'm just really happy that this is also gone, because honestly, it was getting to a point and I was like, do you know what? This is getting ridiculous. Like, I don't know why it's here. And then I decided to use this like every other day, and I got it done because like, I cannot see this ever again. Like, this has to go. Moving on to some products that I actually enjoyed. One of them was this Pharmacy cleansing balm, and I really do enjoy Pharmacy products. I feel like they have a lot of really good things. They're just more on the expensive side. And I use this one up. I did buy the set that they had literally just, I think it was like either right as Black Friday was here, or maybe like just a couple days afterwards. Um yeah, it was a massive purchase that I did, and I just ended up by picking this up. But it did come as a set of two, which I'm really glad, because it definitely works out a lot cheaper to buy it as a set, especially during Christmas time, or when they have those particular sales, because on its own I think it's quite an expensive product to get. But I really like this. I feel like it works really well to remove makeup, but I do feel like sometimes I would need to go in with an extra layer of cleansing balm or like cleanser to fully remove the makeup, especially certain products. They can be a little bit more tricky to remove. But I do still think that this is one of the top, I want to say like top three cleansing balms for me. Like, this has always done a really good job, and I've always really, really enjoyed this. And I can definitely see myself buying this one again. I probably will pick up a couple more sets this year, because I think I got through that within like a month and a half or 2 months, because I've been doing so much more makeup recently compared to last year. So I'm definitely flying through my products. It's an expensive product, but I do think that it's definitely worth it because of how good it works, and it doesn't leave a film. It's really easy to use, and it like emulsifies quite quickly too, so it's kind of nice. I really enjoyed it. Um, Another product I really, really loved was this sunscreen from Beauty of the Dawn. So this is the Relief Sun Aqua Fresh Rice Plus B5 SPF 50 PA plus plus plus. I think there's like four pluses. I can't even see properly, but I really love this. It was really nice and hydrating. It's that really nicely underneath any foundation that I used, and I have like three different ones I was using. There's no white cast, which is a really big thing for me, and I'm not even that. I don't even have that deep skin, so if a white cast shows up on me, it's going to be a lot worse for people who've got deeper complexions. But this one, there was zero white cast at all. It blends so nicely and beautifully into the skin. It literally sinks in, and a really lovely layer. You can top up on top of this, and it's fine. It's not greasy. It's not heavy. It's not. Um, I think I might have said sticky, because unfortunately some sunscreens are formulated and they end up feeling sticky, which I think kind of defeats the purpose of it being put on your face. But this was so good. I definitely will repurchase this one. I think this one might actually beat the other one that I was always buying, which was from the Cosrx aloe vera one. But I do feel like this one has knocked that one down, and I definitely will buy this one again and again because it was that good. I forgot I had two other products. So this is from Pixie. This is the vitamin C serum. This is brightening concentrate, and I wasn't really a fan of this. This is an okay vitamin C serum. It didn't irritate my skin in any way. Unfortunately, sometimes like vitamin C serums can do that, especially if you've got oily skin. It didn't really do that, but I found it really frustrating, and I feel like the color of this changed very, very fast, even though I did use it up. As soon as I'd sort of opened it, like I had gone maybe like 2 3 months with this, and I did use it up within that period. I wouldn't really repurchase this one again. I really enjoyed the Lumen or Lumine. I don't know how you say the brand name, but they have a vitamin C. It's not labeled as a vitamin C serum, but they have one, and that one works so nice, and it leaves such a beautiful glowy look on your skin, and it's just top tier. Okay, it is hella top tier, but this just wasn't it for me. I don't think I'm ever gonna go back and buy this one again. I think I got this either in my cult beauty advent calendar, or I got it as part of another curated skincare box. I don't really remember. I was shopping like a crazy person last year, but I got that one done. But I do know that this one from Elemis, that was definitely part of my cult beauty advent calendar. This is the Pro Collagen Toning Mist. It was okay. This is fragrance. Like a lot of Elemis products are heavily fragranced. I mean, they're well out of my budget anyway, but even if I was able to buy them, I probably wouldn't, because there's always so much fragrance as part of them. And I don't really like that. This was kind of, it did make my skin initially feel hydrated. Um, and I was honestly just using it as like an in between step to wet my skin after I'd like washed my face. Just add a bit of like water back on so I can use my other actual toner. I wouldn't really go back out and buy this one again. I'm just glad that this is done. That's all I really have to say. But yeah, I don't really like a lot of Ellen's products because of how heavy the fragrance is. I have two fragrance teams. One of these is the Kayali musk matcha, and I actually really like this. I don't know why, I just really like this. This kind of reminds me slightly of the yum pistachio scent, but that one is a lot sweeter than this one. This kind of has a similar scent to it, but it's just not as sweet, and I can see myself repurchasing like a full size big version of this because I really, really like this. I thought this was really nice. So I'm using another one now, and I don't really remember the name of it, but that one's another really nice like musky scent too, and I'm surprised that I do enjoy this as much as I did. But these tiny little samples, they don't really last that long, but this, I did get a few uses out of it, and I loved every second of it. So that one I can definitely see myself repurchasing again. Obviously, again, not anytime soon because of the no buy, but also because I have so many perfumes that I would rather focus on using those ones up first, especially the really, really old ones, before I repurchase anything new, because I want to enjoy the old stuff before buying new things and then feeling stressed. Another one that I used up was this one from Glossier. This is the OG Glossier U. My friend got this for me, like I want to say back in 2023. I think it could have been 2022, but I don't think so. It was most likely 2023. So I've had it for about 3 years, and it was honestly time for it to be used up. This shouldn't have been in my collection for this long. Initially, I really like the scent of it. The longer you leave it, the more it sort of like marinates, I guess, and it does become a bit more peppery and stronger. But then if you leave it for too long, it does start to have that weird chemically smell where you know the product has expired. And I honestly just use this up at home because I didn't want to really risk it using it out whenever I went out. Even though initially this scent I did only use whenever I did leave the house, but I've got this done. I really like this. I probably will buy a full size version of this. Again, not anytime soon because I have enough perfumes to get through. Everything else that I have left is now makeup empties. Some of these I've been working on for a very long time. I've been on and off working for the last couple of years. Some of these, they're a lot quicker to use up because obviously the more makeup you do, the more likely, like the more progress you're going to make on products. So yeah, some of these have been around for a long time, some not so much. But the first item that I really want to talk about is this La Cura Vita Base Moisturizing Primer. This is completely done. This was a really nice sort of moisturizing primer. I mean, it's basically a dupe of the Bob Brown one. It's not going to be an exact dupe, but it did feel the same on the skin, and it did apply really well on the skin, and it was really hydrating. So I really like this. And for a fraction of the price, why not? And this one I really enjoyed, especially during the winter time. So my skin would be sometimes a little bit more on the drier side, and I could potentially struggle. Um, and this worked really nice on my under eyes as well, because sometimes my under eyes would also look and feel really dry, and then it would make my concealer look really crusty and cakey almost, and that was not a good look. So I used this one up, but I've been using this on and off for the last 2 years. I bought this in 2024, and it was a very sort of slow process of using this up, and it did take me a while to get through this. But obviously, in the summertime when I can be a lot more oilier, I wouldn't use a product like this. I don't really feel like I would need something like this, so I only sort of use it in the autumn, winter, and like the start of sort of spring. So basically about half the year I was using it, and the other half I wasn't. And I finally got this done this month, and I'm really happy with that because I genuinely felt like I was not going to use up this product. But I mean, considering that I'm doing makeup for at least 15 plus days per month, it makes sense that I was able to use it up. I used up this concealer from Huda Beauty. My cousin actually gave it to me because she didn't like it. She found it that it was a bit too cakey for her, and I scraped out what I could. And then I just gave up. I was like, I don't really want to scrape any more out. And I think I did a pretty good job of using this up. This was a bit too deep for me, and I mean, I could have saved it for the summertime, but I had been using it since last year, and I kind of just wanted it done myself. Like, it's an okay concealer. Um, a little does go a long way, so you only need a tiny bit, and then add more rather than doing like a really thick layer because that can go wrong very easily and that's not really worth it. But it was okay. I don't know if I'd necessarily go back and buy it again. I just much prefer the NARS um concealer. That one just works a lot better for me and I much prefer that one. I don't know if I would necessarily go back and buy the Huda Beauty one. I mean, it might be worth me trying it once again, just with my actual correct shade. But my biggest issue with this is it leaks. It's a very leaky product, and I find that really frustrating. Like, I really, really do wish she works on her packaging a little bit more than what she does because it's really frustrating having leaky packaging. Because not only is it causing a mess, to you're wasting a lot of product, and it doesn't really make sense to sort of have that. I don't want my makeup bag or like my makeup jar to be dirty and like messy and have to clean it all the time. It does get really frustrating. So I might try it again. I might, but I'm not really sure yet. But if you guys have any good recommendations for concealers that you're really loving, please let me know because I do think in the next couple of months I might actually need to buy another one. Use up two makeup products from Made by Mitchell. So one is an actual liquid highlighter, the other one is a blush. So this liquid highlighter I would not put on top of my face. I would always put it on underneath my foundation, and then it would give like that sort of glowy, dewy look to the skin, and I really enjoyed that. And it didn't actually take me that long to use up. I need to get a little bit better at panning and maybe like updating you guys in progress wise. So rather than just like saying, oh, I can't really see anything else, like there's no movement or there is movement going downwards, there might be product stuck on the sides, but on the inside it's looking quite empty. And I didn't actually realize that until like I want to say mid-April. And then I was like, oh, okay, so I've done my update and I've really just now realized actually I don't have that much product in here than I initially did. So I might end up buying like a scale to measure some products, but that's something future me can sort of deal with. But I use this up. I wouldn't really go back and buy these because liquid highlighters for me don't really make sense because I have to use a lot of powder because I can get oily quite quickly. So it doesn't really make sense for me to use it. And then using liquid on top of powder, just it can look not so great. So yeah, I'm glad I used up. It was getting old. I had to kind of go, and eventually it did start breaking me out, and that's when I know that product is definitely done. But by that time, it started breaking me out. It was basically almost done anyway. So it was just like, okay, one more use isn't gonna hurt because I already have the breakouts, and then it was done. And I'm so glad I have like two more left, and it'll be really nice and a good way for me to get my hair to category down, which I can't wait. I cannot wait to give you guys an update, and I'll try and do that around July. But yeah, I'm really happy with that progress. This product though, I didn't actually use it up as a blush. I've been using it as an under eye color corrector since last year. I want to say summertime, and I have been using this for so long. And eventually, it just started to get dried. I did take the stopper out. I used as much of this as I could. I couldn't get the bottom bit down and out, and it was basically dry because I'd been using it so much, and I'd constantly be opening this every single time I did my makeup. I used some of this, and a little went a long way. And I would this is definitely a thicker formula because it's supposed to be liquid blush than what an actual color corrector formula should be. So I would have to only apply a little bit and then kind of move on with that. I probably wouldn't do that again, but it was a good way for me to use up a blush that I wouldn't necessarily use up as a blush because it would have had to be expired. It would be expired and I would have had to throw it out by the time I did get around to using it. But then I got it done as a color corrector. So it works really well to figure out other ways to pan products. I think that's always kind of good and always kind of be kind of fun and a different challenge, but I probably wouldn't do that again. This product I love. I really love the formula of this, and I used one of these up a couple months ago. But this is basically done. There was some product inside, but you couldn't pull it back out or pull it out any further, and it's basically completely gone. I've been using this on and off for the last 3 years plus since I've had this, and I really love the Colourpop formula. The gel liners are so good. They're so bright, vibrant, and easy to use, and my under eyes are absolutely fine using them, even though they were so old. A lot of the times, what I found is that products can really irritate my under eyes, but this one didn't do that to me, and I'm so glad it didn't. I will eventually buy like a full pack of these because they're so good and so convenient to use. However, I do have other colors that I really want to use up on other formulas, and I don't really want to purchase these ones anytime soon because they're just going to be collecting dust, which doesn't make any sense, and then they will eventually dry out. And I did notice that these did become a little bit more drier, which meant that they were likely to break. The same thing happened last time, and literally right as I got to the end, it sort of snapped. I mean, there was a very, very tiny bit left. We're talking maybe 2 millimeters, which is very tiny product left, so that's fine. I'm not too worried about that because I did use up the rest of this. But because they do start to dry and then they will start to break, I don't really feel like I need to buy anything just yet because I have enough other colors, even though nothing similar to this. But still, I have other colors I feel like I can use for the time being before I go back out and buy this. And I would like to use some of those up because they are also drying out, because some of them I've had for quite some time. And only this year, really, where I've been doing makeup so much more, I've actually noticed like a lot of my makeup. One, I've already made a lot of progress over the last couple of years, but two is I feel like the first time when I've actively, and after a long time, been able to pan things like this because I'm doing so much makeup. That already makes sense. I'm so sorry, but we'll just move on. I used up 2 lip products. This is the one of them. This is the ColourPop lip oil in the shade. It's supposed to be raspberry mojito, but I feel like the the product just lost the actual like tint that it had. Then it just ended up being like a clear product. But I did use it as a lip oil on my bedside table, and I finally got this done. Lip oils and lip glosses just sit in the same category for me, and because I have so many, I think at the start of the year I had 161, and I'm finally down to 156. But I do have a long ways to go with reducing my gloss inventory because it's disgusting and I don't really need that many. I'm really trying to use up what I can, and this was a product I bought in 2024, and I'm so glad I used this up. But I have so much more product to get through eventually, and I just kept this on my bedside table, and I would actually use it quite often, and I would top up quite a lot because I would sit on my bed for a couple of hours, probably like doom scroll, but then also like try and read when I did read. So I was using product quite often, and it was really nice. It was a good way for me to use this, so hopefully I can continue that and find other ways to use up other glosses, especially the lip oils that I have. So we'll see how that goes. And the last product is a lipstick. It is a mini, but it's still a lipstick, and a win is a win. A win is a win. This is literally what this is looking like. I'm not going to dig any product out because, again, I have so much lipstick that it doesn't make sense for me to that. I think the only time I'll ever dig product out from the inside is if, one, it's my absolute favorite, like, and it's no longer available for me to purchase, or two, I've got less than 15 lipsticks, and then I can be like, okay, no, I don't really want to keep buying products, and this is the only one sort of shade that I have like this, then let me dig it out. Otherwise, I'm not digging anything out. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be that pattern because I have so much stuff. And honestly, if I had a lot less, then I would consider doing that. But because I have so much other things to work through and get to, I'm not going to do that because it doesn't really make sense for me to honestly do that at this current stage in my collection. Or, yeah, so I can't really find the right word for it, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So, this is everything that I have used up. I really do hope I can continue getting through more and more products, especially makeup products, because where I'm doing makeup a lot more often, I can also visibly see the progress a lot more often. So I'm trying to focus in on only like a handful of products at a time so that I can visibly see the progress a lot easier than trying to use and rotate through everything that I have. So hopefully that will mean that I can set myself up to some good empties next month too. I wasn't expecting all of these things to be empty this month. Like, I mean, I did think that the liquid highlighter I would have a little bit longer with. Same thing with the lipstick. This was a surprise for me because I generally thought this was just never ending. And then I was like, you know what? It doesn't make sense. Let me just focus in on one product rather than fighting with 3 different products and just see how it goes. And luckily, I got this one done. So I'm really happy with that too. But that is all the empties for this month. I'm so happy with the progress that I've made. And I'm so happy to even get some of these skincare products out as well, including hair care, because I know that a lot of these I'm not really going to repurchase. So it was nice to use them while I could, but I know they're not going to see their way back into my collection, which is again something that I'm really, really happy with. That was everything for today. I'll catch you next week.